Pep, what's going on, Pep?
Man, what a game. LeBron James coming up with a huge, deep three-pointer with less than a minute to play to lift the Lakers past Golden State in that play-in game. So what does it all mean? It means the Lakers are the number 7 seed. They advance to the real NBA playoffs now, and they will take on the second-seeded Phoenix Suns. But what a play by LeBron James to hit that three-pointer. And guys, if I could even back it up just a little bit, he got poked in the eye. He was saying he couldn't even see. He saw like 3 baskets. It was all blurry. And he still hit like a 30-foot three-pointer.
It's very Mickey Mantle of him to say that, seeing 3 baskets. He just shot for the one in the middle, right?
Yeah, Draymond Green went up, hit him right in the head. He went down hard, but it looked like he had hit his head on the court, but just took a finger right into the eye, and you can see, like, the rest of the game, he kept messing with that eye. You can tell he was having a hard time seeing with that eye.
But they do advance. Now it's on to the Suns. So in the beginning of the game, the first half, I was like, oh boy, they were down a little bit, but of course they tighten up, get to the end of the game and just pull away.
Steph Curry cannot handle a team on his own. He can't carry that team. And at the end of the game, it really was him that lost the game for it because he had the D on LeBron's big, long three.
Yeah.
Steph Curry's a terrible defender. And then at the end of the game, when they were trying to inbound a pass to him, he couldn't handle it.
Oh, yeah. In his defense, when a 6'9" ferocious beast is pulling up from 35 out, it's going to be tough to. It's funny to see the height difference. Steph jumped up and he didn't even raise his arms because his head was like at LeBron's knees.
No, you could tell he didn't even put his hands up, and he was more talking to LeBron than anything else but shooting because that's Steph's defense. Use your mouth, not your hand.
What is his best defense?
He
can't get that high.
And to Steph's defense, he probably thought, okay, LeBron can't see. He just got poked in the eye. He's like 30 plus feet away from the basket, and the shot clock was winding down, so he had that sense of urgency, like, I got to just get this ball and just throw it up at the rim. So all those factors combine, and LeBron still hit nothing but net. And Steph Curry was just kind of like, what do you do? He just kind of shrugged. He's like, there's nothing you can do.
And there still was a minute to go, but there was definitely that dagger feeling.
Yeah, that was it. They were tied at 100. LeBron hit that 3, and in hindsight, we could say there was no more scoring. That was it. That three-pointer was the difference.
Right.
They turned up the D after that, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, incredible game. So the Lakers move on. Not the prettiest game, and you guys were right. They looked bad in the first half. Were good enough in the second half to beat Golden State. And we'll see if there's any carryover now against this very good young Phoenix team, but with the old season Chris Paul at point guard. That's going to be a battle for the Lakers, I think, in this upcoming playoff series.
It's going to be exciting. I think you're right.
4-0 sweep.
And meanwhile, from the Lakers to the Clippers, don't forget the Clippers will take on the Dallas Mavericks in their opening round playoff series. So here we go. The play-in tournament winding down. We still got Memphis. Memphis will play Golden State in that other Western Conference play-in game. The winner of that one will get the number 8 seed in the Western Conference. And, of course, the number 1 Utah Jazz awaits the winner of that game. So NBA playoffs. Here we come as the Lakers are officially in this morning.
Right. It's like the play-in week kind of adds a little week of playoff-like atmosphere.
Yeah, you know what? If you think about it, Major League Baseball's done something similar, right? Where you take like a couple wild cards and you make them go a one-off, and the winner of that one actually moves on into the, I guess you'd call it the real postseason. So it's not like we haven't seen this before, but I know some NBA guys are into it, and some are like, nah, this is not cool. If you earn a spot in the playoffs, you earn a spot in the playoffs. There shouldn't be this play-in stuff.
Yeah, I'm still back and forth on whether I like it or not. I realized last night during the telecast that they were talking about that the stats for these games don't count for the regular season. They don't count for the playoffs. So it's like the stats of the play-in games don't count for anything. It's leagues that have let too many teams in the playoffs trying to find a way to hype their playoffs since they messed up and they allow way too many teams in the playoffs.
I can see that point, but I actually like the play-in tournament because I think, just automatically having half the league make the playoffs, I'm kind of glad that you can't just coast in on the 8th spot anymore. You have somebody who can actually challenge you a little bit.
And here's the thing, though. I think the Lakers are the outlier. They're the exception because most 7 or 8 seeds are going to fight and claw and try to get into the playoffs, and then they're just going to get destroyed in the first round by the number 1 or the number 2 seed. But I think the Lakers are the exception because if they're at full strength, they're not a 7 or 8 seed. And I think that's why the play-in tournament, is obviously playing in their favor in this season at least.
Oh, no doubt.
And I think, the problem that I think specifically baseball and basketball have with this is the season is too long and you have way too big of a discrepancy from the top teams to the bottom teams. So it's like in the playoffs, you have your top teams. They're going to shine in the playoffs. You have your bottom teams. You need to do something with your mid-tier teams to do some kind of hype, and that's a play-in tournament.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Exactly what it boils down to. If your team's mediocre, it gives you something to look forward to, I guess, in these NBA playoffs. Guys, as we move to Major League Baseball, we had another no-hitter. Oh, yes, another no-no last night. Corey Kluber of the Yankees tossing a no-no against the Rangers last night. It's the 6th no-hitter of the season. I have no idea what's going on in Major League Baseball, but these pitchers are dominating this year. A record-setting pace right now in baseball this year with no-hitters.
My Seattle Mariners have gotten no-hit by the same guy twice, so it is definitely the year of the no-hitter. But I remember I did hear a report, and maybe you can tell me if you heard this too, Pep, that they made a minor change to the ball once again because of so many home runs in these last 2 years. I'm wondering if they made a little alteration to the stitching, so there's a little more movement on these pitches, which is why there's so many no-hitters.
Yeah, remember in the 90s, we thought the ball was juiced, right? Because all the home run hitters. And maybe that pendulum has swung back the other way. And they're like, let's do a little of this, a little of that to the baseball. Now the pitchers are just locked in and dominating against all these great hitters we're seeing.
They need to switch that up because baseball pitching is boring as hell. Go back to the hitting, please.
See, 2 years ago, they wound. See, the ball was juiced. They wound it tighter. Oh. They admitted that they wound it a little bit tighter, and that's why it traveled so far.
Worst thing about baseball is a hitless game. Jesus Christ, I liked it.
Hey, you know what? I think it was the great Greg Maddux. I want to say it was maybe like a Reebok commercial a long time ago. He said, "Chicks dig the long ball," right? So more home runs, the more better, right? Out there.
They do.
Yeah, we don't like to watch paint dry.
Hey, speaking of the long ball, Shohei Ohtani leads Major League Baseball in home runs. He also pitched last night. He was actually pretty good, and the Angels still lost. So there's your Angels report on this morning. Pretty much the same old story.
40, how Angels is that?
All I'm hearing is league MVP with Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, that part for sure.
And Mike Trout's out. He's going to be out like 6 to 8 weeks. He's got a calf strain, so things are not good for the Angels right now.
Never heard of this Mike Trout person.
Hey, but you should, because Mike Trout is, besides 40, the biggest Eagles fan out there. He loves the Philadelphia Eagles. He is a big football fan. And 40, I wanted to finish up this morning with this because, now that we've seen the NFL schedules for the upcoming season, I'm seeing multiple reports that say the Philadelphia Eagles have the easiest schedule for the upcoming NFL season. The easiest. They should be cruising this year, right?
Take it, 40.
We should be, but the problem with that is because we are in a division with the Giants, the Cowboys, and the formerly Redskins, now the football team. Cowboys have the second easiest one because anybody in our division has an easy schedule because everybody in our division is trash.
It makes a good point, doesn't he, Pat?
No, he does. The NFC, what do they call it? The NFC least right now instead of the NFC
It's terrible
East.
right now.
Oh, well, it is what it is, right, Pep?
Yeah, and on the other side, I think it looks like Pittsburgh, the Steelers, might have the toughest schedule if you calculate all the numbers and formulas. So the Eagles, the easiest, Steelers, the most difficult.
And I think we saw officially Tim Tebow is now assigned a Jaguar.
He is signed into camp. He gets a shot to try to be tight end.
It was headlines when they were thinking about signing him and then just kind of passed along once he actually officially signed. Real under the radar.
Now, you guys, I heard another former Jet, I cannot remember his name, but he said, everyone's acting like, oh, Tim Tebow's finally going to be tight end like he was supposed to be. He's like, we tried tight end at the Jets. He was not good. He's like, he's not going to make this team. He goes, everyone who's worrying about him making this team, he's not going to make this team.
If you don't remember, he only played 3 years in the NFL. He hasn't played in the NFL long enough to get an NFL retirement, and he wasn't good.
Right. And you know what else, too, is a lot of people are like, oh, he's like Taysom Hill. The guy's like, no. He's like, dude, Tim ran like a 4.9. He goes, Taysom Hill runs a 4.4.
Taysom Hill's fast.
Oh,
big difference. You know what I mean? Big difference. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
Hey, it's Inland Sports. Check it out all over social media. We got the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Check it out if you like local sports.
Thanks, Pep.